Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Drive Time Podcast. My name is Raman, Vedula, and I'm from FEMBA, class of 2025 from UCLA Anderson. You must be thinking, who the hell is this guy? I mean, when you see someone other than Dean Dylan Stafford on Drive Time Podcast, that means it is the time for end of the season series. And this time we are actually doing it as celebration of the class of 2025 here at FEMBA in UCLA Anderson. And today I have a very special guest. She is one of my very good friends here at UCLA Anderson, one of the first ever people that I met here at Anderson when I stepped into the campus. She is an amazing soul, beautiful heart, and a gorgeous woman. She is none other than Mehwish Khan. Hi, Mehwish. How are you doing?
Hi, Raman. I'm doing fantastic. Thanks so much for having me today.
Oh, great. I'm just trying to remember, how we met, and then we were part of the learning team, and we've had a lot of fun. So just want to understand, how exactly this journey has been since that day one at the leadership sessions until now. Just want to have a casual, if you could share that casual experience.
Yeah, of course. I mean, from the beginning of my MBA journey.
Yeah, that like in a little bit on the casual side, not the serious side. I'm not going to talk about how the classes went.
Yeah.
just want to know about that experience that you've had.
Yeah, of course. I mean, MBA has just been honestly like a highlight of my life, to be honest. It's been this great opportunity in which I have learned so much. I've been able to excel in my career through the program, and probably most importantly, I have met amazing individuals like you, and I've gotten the chance to learn from my cohort and create really long-lasting friendships. And can't believe that we're almost at the end of our 3-year FEMBA journey. It's really just been a fantastic time.
I was about to ask that because you're graduating pretty soon. I don't wanna come up with this. I mean, I find this question to be stupid when we say, "Hey, how are you feeling?" Obviously, we're all happy with doing, graduating. But then, what exactly is your mindset? Now you're graduating. One of the biggest achievements, if you can say, in our lives. Getting this MBA from all these best schools in the country. What exactly is your mindset? What is going on in your mind? How are you planning? How are you, about walking in there during the graduation ceremony and all? What's your mindset at the moment?
Yeah, it's feeling really bittersweet, to be honest. I spent my undergrad years at UCLA. I took a couple of years to focus on work, and then moved into an MBA at UCLA. And so UCLA as a whole has just been such a large part of my identity, and it'll continue to be. But it definitely feels like an end of an era. Actually leaving the campus and no longer being a student here, but it's bittersweet, but also I'm really excited to have some time back on my calendar and enjoy my evenings. Don't have to be in class. Watch TV.
I know. All the evening classes, missing a lot of that casual time. I know. I feel that. I one thing that makes me a bit envious is that you're a double Bruin. That's what you're talking about. You've done your undergrad over here. Mm-hmm. Being that double Bruin thing. Do you really think that's kind of a bigger advantage than for someone like me who's a single Bruin?
No, I don't think.
With respect to experience that we have at the campus, obviously. Come on, don't be so much.
I could take you on a tour of the UCLA campus with my eyes closed, probably. I've done that a million times over. Even when we had clients and coming to visit UCLA Anderson, I was the first to tell them to let's just go on a tour of this beautiful campus. So I have that edge over you, I'm sure. I mean, UCLA as a whole is such a fantastic university, whether you're undergrad or Anderson. And so I consider myself very lucky to have the opportunity to be at this program for so long.
Talk about your undergrad. I just want to know more about that, because also when it actually dawned on you that, okay, I need to do my MBA, and then what was your undergrad? What was the pivot, and how did it work?
Yeah, sure. So I started as an undergrad about 10 years ago, or a little bit more than 10 years ago.
Okay.
And I was actually studying psychobiology. And, I went in, this major is actually really popular for pre-med students at an undergraduate at UCLA. So even though I was pre-med, I knew that I didn't necessarily want to go into the field of medicine.
Okay.
But I was very interested in healthcare broadly. And so by happenstance, me and a couple of my best friends, one of which I'm actually married to now.
That's so cool. Okay.
Yeah, we actually started a nonprofit organization when I was a sophomore at undergrad. And, through that experience, I was really introduced to the more administrative aspect of healthcare, and the importance of not, of course, there's the major importance of being a clinician and, providing medical care and whatnot. But there's also a really big importance of infrastructure, administration, and business and healthcare as well. And so that's kind of where I started thinking about healthcare business. And I guess ultimately down the line that led to me pursuing an MBA at UCLA.
So is that the reason that you actually went on to join Kaiser Permanente as well, to kind of, healthcare business side? Because you didn't want to go into the medicine completely medical field. Is that one of the reasons I can say?
Yeah, of course. So I started an internship at Kaiser Permanente when I was a sophomore at UCLA. And that was just this amazing experience because I got to see that behind the scenes lens of providing healthcare to a patient population. And I started off in finance, a little bit of accounting and physician resourcing, and ultimately was hired full-time in finance and then ended up pivoting to consulting later on.
Oh, that's so nice. So that kind of gives me some kind of out of curiosity, we talk about a lot of skill sets and everything, right? That's from your pre-MBA and through your academic experience and also the understanding about your career. What exactly you think is the skill that you think is more useful, which kind of upgraded you to be an MBA student here?
The skill that I had prior to MBA.
Yes.
Oh, I really struggled with that because I think I came in feeling like I didn't have a strong skill set. And even though I said I had finance experience at Kaiser Permanente, I felt like it was very specific to my company, but not necessarily something that I could apply broadly. And so the most amazing thing is that maybe although I had that prior experience of finance within my own company, being able to learn how to apply it more broadly and larger terms and through all of the experiences that we had within the actual finance class or accounting class was very unique.
Oh, that is so nice. And I just want to talk about a little bit about the family background, your culture, what impact it had in your journey, and then especially when you're taking these decisions to kind of pivot from, not going into the medical field, want to go to the healthcare business, what kind of an impact it has on you, the support and everything.
Yeah, my family...
And I'm so sorry, you also met your husband over here at UCLA. That's pretty interesting.
I met my husband at UCLA, and between my husband and the rest of my family, they have all been so supportive. I think you mentioned, transitioning sort of from that pure clinician or medical background into something that's business. And my family has always been really open about that. And I often mention my father was an LA Times photographer for 35 years. And so something that he's really drilled in is, the importance of having a career in something you're passionate about. And, I have clearly found that in my career. And, they're just such big proponents of doing that between everyone. And my husband is a physician, and so I kind of get to go through his physician training struggles with him. So I kind of get a little bit of both here.
Yeah, that's cool. It's always good to have someone who understands that.
Yeah.
When you're actually trying to balance things on a very thin ice. Now, and then coming to the total FEMBA program itself. Yeah, this is a question I keep asking everyone. In fact, I'm on a different boat with respect to this whole prism, but then I keep asking. You got having this job absolutely keeping you so busy, but at the same time you're mentioning about getting to the class this evening, a lot of assignments, and this kind of a balancing act. What exactly is the biggest challenge you faced? Everyone has a different answer. In fact, I've been talking to a lot of people off the record, and then people like, hey, my biggest challenge is, I still remember someone telling me my biggest challenge is to miss my TV shows or something from 7 o'clock till 8 o'clock or something. I'm like, okay, you can rewatch that. And no, I want to watch it then. That's what I'm like, okay, cool. That's a bigger challenge. So what exactly is yours?
Oh, it's a tough one. I think you make a lot of sacrifices by choosing to continue working full time and then also doing a part-time MBA. So yeah, I mean, I think I miss being able to work out whenever I want to and not be kind of restricted to like after class. I know you relate, right?
Ask me about it.
Yeah, exactly. That and, eating healthy, but I'm trying to. I think I've done a pretty good job over the last 3 years of learning how to balance everything. It's a little bit of an adjustment period, but now I don't know what I'll do with all my free time.
Oh, well, I mean, that reminds me, are you still going to your boxing classes?
I am doing personal training now. So
wow.
Yeah.
Do you train people? Or
No.
Are you personal training with boxing and all?
No, somebody is personal training.
That's what I'm saying.
Yes.
You're getting that personal training. Oh my goodness.
Yes.
I can't. You know what? People have to be.
Try to keep up with everything I can while being so busy, but health is important. So.
Well, absolutely. Health is pretty much important. That's what you're in the healthcare business as well.
Yeah.
I mean, that's interesting. That just kind of gives me a thing. Okay, you focus a lot on health. You just have a healthcare business kind of a mindset. Your family, I mean, especially when your husband's also in health. I mean, health is so important for you on every front.
Yeah, definitely.
Hi. Oh, that's so cool. That's pretty interesting. And did you take electives related to healthcare as well over here at FEMBA?
I did. The highlight of my FEMBA experiences, honestly, was in terms of the academic courses that I took were those healthcare electives. And I think just especially having the opportunity to learn from professors that are in the healthcare industry is really eye-opening and so relatable to me in my own field. That's definitely amazing classes.
Great that you actually brought that up. I was about to talk about it as well. Talk about that. I mean, I want to talk about the electives, academic side of your highlights, and also the overall highlights as well. But then to begin with the academic highlights, you spoke about healthcare and everything.
Yeah.
What is so significant about that?
Yeah, I mean, I think probably one of the best experiences that I had was completing a healthcare policy course in Washington, D.C. a couple summers ago.
Yes.
Yeah, and so...
I dropped that course.
Oh, you dropped it? Oh, no, you should have joined it. Yeah.
I was, obviously, I'm from Washington, D.C., so I was in Washington, D.C. I actually dropped that course.
Oh, you should have joined it.
I know.
Before you leave, you should go back and do that course.
So, yeah.
But really just, as I mentioned, so I've been with Kaiser Permanente for 9 years now, and it's been just a fantastic experience. But, through that, I've only, all of my knowledge of healthcare has come through the lens of working at KP, right, for the most part. And so what I felt like I was missing was actually understanding healthcare more broadly. And understanding how, insurance and Medi-Cal and Medicare and all of that kind of stuff operates in the world more largely, or at least in the U.S. more largely. So through this experience, I got to see, some of the most difficult problems that our country is facing regarding healthcare taking up such a massive amount of our GDP, and it's ever growing, and Americans are not the most healthy. And so just learning all of that through that lens was amazing. And I ended up taking back a lot of what I learned to my team at work and sharing with them. And one of the most unique experiences to learn about my career from an academic perspective.
Oh, that reminds me. So you're saying that's what is the highlight of FEMBA. In fact, I still remember this was the first ever thing that Dean Dillon was. I had a Zoom call with him even before the first day over here with him. I still remember him telling me that, hey, the best experience that you have over here is you have this, and next day you go and apply these skills that you acquired over here at your work. Mm-hmm. So that's a great thing actually, what you were talking about. Applying those skills and then bringing different perspective.
Yeah.
I think your colleagues must be seeing a different person altogether right next day itself when you kind of talk about the MBAs.
Yeah. I think my colleagues have probably seen an immense improvement in me, through this program. Yeah.
Oh, so I'll talk about that. Mm-hmm. How as a leader this course has transformed, especially at your work.
Yeah, I mean, so you might remember this, but when we first started, one of the biggest goals that I had coming in was to reduce my anxiety of public speaking. I was terrified.
You're here now.
And so I think this is a great culmination of, what has happened through the last 3 years is that I am finally comfortable. And, I will say, I was totally fine before COVID. But when COVID happened and all of a sudden all of our jobs moved remote, and I was kind of alone behind my computer screen at my apartment for days. Like all of us kind of faced this COVID thing, right? Okay. And so it really instilled a lot of anxiety in me just for speaking. And coming into the MBA, I was still going through that. And I think I'm out of it now. So it's, that has been probably just the thing that I've grown in the most. I'm no longer uncomfortable speaking to people or raising my hand. And it's just been this immense place of growth for me.
I still remember that. I mean, I remember we've had this conversation right in the first couple of weeks. That makes sense. I was talking about the classroom engagement. I don't know if you remember this. I still remember we were in our learning team. I was discussing about this. That's one of the biggest takeaways over here. Look at that. This live example over here. She has this anxiety, not comfortable talking, and by the end of the course, she's sitting over here talking to me right in front of the cameras, talking to millions of people who are going to watch that. That is so good. That is so good. Otherwise, what exactly is the general highlight that you would say? About your experience during your FEMBA, not academic. Maybe you might made some one of the best friendships or some kind of a leadership. Anything. What exactly is the highlight you would say?
Yeah, I mean, definitely the friendships.
I just gave it to you.
You just gave me the answer on a platter. Yeah, I mean, just amazing friendships. I mean, I think that all of us going through kind of normal life struggles, and then our jobs and our careers, and maybe even living far away and commuting into our classes in the evenings, like all of those are kind of shared struggles that we have, but then we all have to come into class and sit down together and get the work done or get a project done. And it's been just amazing to connect with everybody and, help each other when we're down or, pick up for each other. And those relationships are ones that I'm sure will, stay for years to come and forever, I should say.
100%. 100%. Yeah. I have to tell you guys one thing. With Mehwish is so empathetic about others. I still remember she walked up to me a couple of times when I was not in good spirits. She was like, "Hey, Raman, how are you doing?" I mean, especially after a week or two, she comes back to me. It's like, "Are you feeling good now?" All those questions when we meet in the class, that really, really lifts the spirits up. You feel like, oh, okay. Because I come from a different country. I come from India, in the United States, in a different country, and then you see someone walking and then just asking you about how good you are you feeling good, which kind of it's a lot. It's really, really good. Thank you so much for that. You always have been a sweetheart for that way, and then that's a good segue, to be very honest. Feeling empathetic. You were talking about the nonprofit. I really, really want to talk about that because, as she mentioned, she and her husband, and they started this non-profit organization called Saving Hearts Foundation. So talk about that. I mean, that is a brilliant thing because, what I personally feel is that, okay, MBA brings out leaders. We're all business leaders in making. Great. And tomorrow, who knows, we'd be running the economy as well. Touch wood. But then the original leader comes through these activities that we actually do, taking care of others in various forms. And Saving Hearts Foundation is one of those forms. Please talk about it. Take all your time to do it. I really want to know about it. And then all the people should know about it.
Yeah, thank you. So Saving Hearts Foundation, as I mentioned, was a nonprofit organization that myself and two of my best friends started.
And one of them is yours.
One of them is my husband. Okay. Yeah, we started 11 years ago now.
Nice.
We were actually inspired by hearing about young kids that had lost their lives to sudden cardiac arrest. And you might wonder, why would a kid lose their life to sudden cardiac arrest, and what is cardiac arrest? But the reality is that most people know about heart attacks, and heart attacks often happen in older individuals and are generally caused by clogged arteries. But sudden cardiac arrests can happen in anyone.
Yes.
And is actually one of the number one killers of student athletes. And that is actually when the electrical impulses in your heart are not working correctly. And it causes what we call an arrhythmia, and that can stop your heart. So what we do through the Saving Hearts Foundation is we actually provide free heart screenings through 2 local high schools, predominantly in the greater Los Angeles area. And we go out to these schools and we have these big events, and usually they're on Saturdays. We actually just had one a couple of days ago. And we go out and we try to look for warning signs of sudden cardiac arrest.
That is so nice.
Yeah.
That's so nice.
And so I can tell you a little bit more about
Go
what
ahead,
exactly we do there.
Go ahead.
Yeah, so when an individual were to if they were to walk into one of these events, they would first make sure they are already pre-registered or register on the spot, and that includes filling out a family history and their personal history. And then from there, they complete their vitals, and so like height, weight, and blood pressure. And then from there, we actually do an EKG of the heart, or an electrocardiogram of the heart.
Okay.
And that is the little device that we place on the individual's body. And there's little silver electrode particles on the little stickers that we apply. And those actually translate into showing us all of the electrical impulses that are coming out of someone's heart. And then we have a cardiologist on site. So the cardiologist reviews those vitals, the personal and family history, and the EKG. And they determine if there is anything to be concerned about. And they're actually having the consultation with the patient in front of them as well.
Okay.
And then...
And the parents will also be there.
And most of the time there are the parents there as well. Yeah. Or if not, if the parent's not there, then we do have approval to speak to patients, from the parents. And from there, if there's anything concerning, we actually have an echocardiogram on site as well. And that allows us to actually image the heart. So it's an ultrasound of the heart that we'll also do on the spot, and really give the cardiologist a good picture, literally, of what's happening in this person's heart. And so through the last 10 years, we've screened probably over 5,000 individuals.
Wow.
Yeah, and we've actually...
How old are they?
So everyone ranges between the ages of 12 and 35.
Okay.
Yep. So it's a younger population. And we've actually been able to save about 60 lives. Amazing.
60.
Yep, 60.
That is so nice.
Yeah.
I mean, I would talk more about that because this is pretty close to my heart, to be very honest. We have certain history in my family too. I mean, I lost my father because of a cardiac arrest. I lost my elder brother because of a cardiac issue. My elder brother was 35 and my father was 55. So I know how it's kind of pretty emotional for me, and so I really, this is pretty close to my heart as well, to do something on those lines, and that's what keeps me, pushes me to go to the gym, work out, and then be fit and all. But again, at the same time, we see a lot of people these days, especially in India. I just read news in the last couple of years, multiple individuals who are pretty fit, working out in the gym, just collapse and just die. They don't even realize that something's happening inside them. Mm-hmm. So it's just pretty close to my heart as well when you're speaking about it. Any specific very interesting stories or something that you would like to share about, in during your 10-year journey with on this foundation?
Yeah, and thanks for sharing your story. I'm so sorry for your losses.
Oh, I appreciate that.
Yeah, I mean, there have been countless experiences that we've had that have just moved us so much. And, it's something that we do as a passion project on the side. And so everyone that's part of this organization has their own careers or jobs and family lives and whatnot, but we all come together on certain weekends and just try to do what we can for the community. It means so much to us. But one highlight that I had is actually probably around 10 years ago, when we were just getting started. It was really hard for us to build the capital, to get the equipment, and to get a number of cardiologists to join our team. And we were really feeling bogged down by how difficult it was to get everything moving. But around that time, we had an event. We screened probably about a couple hundred people at that event, and we had a couple of positives. And at that time, we were trying to get better about following up with the individuals that we were flagging, and making sure that they were okay. But this time, actually, the parent reached out to us, and the mother reached out to us first. And she reached out to us, and she said, and I remember it like the quote from her, and it was, "By the grace of God, you saved my son's life."
Oh, God.
And that was just like one of those moments where it just hits you that all of that work is worth it. It means something, and you really did just save someone's life, right? And kind of coming back to why I joined healthcare in general, or why I joined Kaiser Permanente, and why I'm on the administrative sides of things, is because that email was a perfect example of the fact that I didn't have to be the clinician and the medical provider of care. I didn't have to be the doctor and the nurse.
You know,
to have a heart and to save someone's life and to, make it a difference in their life.
Oh, that is so nice. I mean, like, I understand if someone says that something like you saved, that's so heavy as well. So how was it? Is it like, do you really think it's out of your experiences all these decades? Is it a genetic issue or is it just a lifestyle issue? What exactly is the core reason for these, cardiac issues in these youngsters? Yeah, even kids for that matter.
Yeah, so what we usually find in individuals that are young, so the under 35 age range, is that it is typically a genetic abnormality that you just may not know of. And there's some people that go through their whole lives without knowing it and are okay. But others, obviously, and you hear it. Sometimes you hear about these individuals collapsing on football fields and whatnot, and sometimes it's attributed to heat stroke.
I know, yes,
Yeah, but the reality is that something could have been wrong, and so we can't say that we'll be able to prevent every single one of these deaths because some of them cannot be picked up by EKG or echocardiogram, but some of them can. And so we have a few diseases that we look out for in particular, and they can be silent killers.
I know. See, I mean, last year, again, not that I'm bringing another example. Last year, one of my very good friends, he lives in London. He lived in London. We went undergrad. He's a huge fan of cricket. Cricket's in India and Pakistan, cricket's a popular game. He plays cricket. He played cricket, came back, was taking shower. He collapsed in the bathroom. He's gone. I mean, so these things are, especially in the athletes, they don't even realize there's these things happening inside them. That is, yeah. So what exactly is your goal with respect to Saving Hearts Foundation? So you said you go to the schools and everything. Are you expanding it to different other counties, or what exactly is the roadmap?
Yeah, I mean...
Also, how many people are there in the foundation?
In the foundation? Oh, that's a good question. So within our board, our nonprofit board, we probably have around 15 or so.
Nice.
And these people, they're amazing people. I mean, they have basically, become as passionate as me and my co-founders are through the years. And they really are just driving the organization now, especially now with me being busy with school. I have stepped down quite a bit, but those people have just jumped right in and have continued to make this organization grow and expand. We also, in conjunction with our nonprofit organization, have a UCLA-based chapter.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and so all of our volunteer base actually comes from UCLA students that are interested in pre-med. And so all of them get their hands-on experience. They're actually the ones that do our EKGs for us. And they get to see firsthand what it's like to work with patients, to see how the heart works very closely. And so it's a great opportunity for them. That club probably has around 50 people in it. And every year they accept new individuals.
So it's a club at UCLA?
It's a club at UCLA.
Oh, so you formed it or anyone? Your Saving Us Foundation actually is initiated. They initiated. Okay.
So when we first started Saving Hearts Foundation as a nonprofit at UCLA, in conjunction with it, we also opened that club. And so they kind of work hand in hand. That is the reason also why we have stayed just within UCLA. We do have questions all the time about expanding the organization to different universities, and we've done it. We did it at Virginia Tech, actually. But to be honest, it's a little bit tough for us to continue to expand just because none of us are 100% able to give our time to it. But, I think what's amazing about this is that we do what we can and we make a difference in the lives of others.
Oh, so also, okay, I'm still pushing on it. With respect to expansion, not geographically, but then within the cardiac as well, you want to include more other services with respect to cardiacs in the foundation? Do you have any ideas on that, or am I just planting that idea in your brain right now?
That's a good question. We do partner with other organizations quite often, and so we stay within the cardiac space. But we definitely join in on different health fairs. We've had the opportunity to go to Costa Rica and Panama and provide screenings internationally. And for those, we actually expand our age range. So we get that older population as well. And it's, we look for different types of things in that kind of case. But yeah, we I think it's for us, it's easier to, or not easier, I should say, but more beneficial for us to stay focused on what we can provide well. And so that's what we've been doing for the last few years.
Right. Okay, that is so great. Congratulations on that.
Thank you.
I mean, it's brilliant. It's so good. It's so nice. I mean, I understand the value of being human that way, having that empathy towards a cause, and then just like working on it. I totally understand because I'm on a similar boat. But I want to bring this back to our MBA program again over here at Anderson. Not that I'm blowing the trumpet of Anderson FEMBA over here. It's just I just want to ask you, how did it transform as a leader?
Yeah.
How do you think your thought process, your vision, everything has actually transformed? Because you started it when you were like, in your undergrad, and right now you can see the graph, you can see the growth and reflect, okay, what's changed and what's so. How do you think this whole experience of FEMBA transformed you as a leader with respect to the foundation and as a human?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think what's instilled in me is that you can trust others with really big things, right? And the reason why I say that is because through Anderson, I think you learn a lot about trust because you just can't possibly juggle everything all the time, right? Like family, school, work, all of that, right? And so for me, it was also the nonprofit. And it's like my baby, but I had to let parts of it go and let others kind of help me take it on.
Yes.
And I learned that is actually the best thing I could have done, right? And like you learn how good other people are at what they do. And that's like the most amazing thing about Anderson too, right? You meet all of these different people. They have so many different experiences than you do, and they all bring something unique to the table. And so I can honestly say, especially in my nonprofit, I can see that it is so much better than when I initially created it, right? Because so many people have pitched in, have improved it, have added their perspective, and that has just, created something that I could never have done alone. And I've learned that probably by force, because I had to let go of certain parts.
That's good.
But yeah, that's probably been, very eye-opening experience for me.
And about here at the FEMBA itself at Anderson, like what exactly other experiences that you've had apart from being in the classroom, but then you got a lot of activities, like it's an ocean of activities over here at Anderson. If you can just run through them and then like your experiences and what exactly you've learned from them.
Yeah, definitely. So I think in terms of healthcare more broadly, I've just been able to expand my knowledge base there. And, that's something that I think sometimes it's hard to just Google to try to get an understanding of what something is, but it's much better to be able to learn from industry experts and have them share all of their experiences with you, and for you to kind of just jump right in and learn with them. And so those healthcare classes have been amazing. And then on top of that, I've also had the opportunity to take classes that were very out of my wheelhouse. Like I took a real estate investing and finance class, and that was very cool because it's just so different from what I'm used to and comfortable with, but also eye-opening. So just like being able to take classes in these different fields that I probably wouldn't be otherwise exposed to.
And also the classes, any other, travels, going out or something, just how about that?
Yeah, so
this mountaintop moments, as we call.
Yeah. So I think highlight was definitely the Washington D.C. program, but then also had the opportunity to do a global immersion in Berlin, Germany. Yeah.
Oh, talk about it! I love global immersions. Actually, I've just been to China and Singapore. So yeah,
with Professor Kramer.
Professor Kramer, yes.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, it's an amazing experience. I mean, you get to just immerse yourself in another space. You get to see how culture is different. You get to kind of explore and just see, it's just so unique. And again, that was one of those instances in which the classes that we were taking were, again, out of my wheelhouse, like not necessarily healthcare related. And so a lot of it was going over my head, but at the same time, it was just this fantastic opportunity to be able to, learn from others that are actually on the ground in Germany.
What was it? Remind me, what was the central topic of Germany?
The Berlin economy.
Oh, wow.
Uh-huh.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's one of the leading economies in Europe.
Yeah. The question is it going to continue to expand and do well or not? And so we learned a lot about that. Got to tag on additional countries on my trip.
Oh, you did?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
What are those countries?
I went to Paris, Amsterdam, Prague.
Did your husband join?
And my husband joined at the end, yeah, after the immersion part was
yeah.
done. Yeah, so definitely highlight of MBA experience as well. Yeah.
Oh, that is so cool. And then other activities over here with respect to the clubs or something in here at an Anderson?
Yeah, clubs. I will probably have to scratch that because I'm not very not in many clubs. Don't have time.
You got a lot of work doing the saving hearts and everything. Obviously, that itself was a lot of thing. I know.
Yeah. Another highlight was Gap. So Gap.
Oh yes.
Gap was an opportunity to really, do something so real world, right? Consulting an outside company, external company, on on their go-to-market strategy, essentially.
Yes.
And the company that we were working with was actually, to be honest, a little bit unstable. And so it was really a true, real experience. It was really tough, but we learned so much. And we're very proud of our outcome.
What's the takeaway from that?
The takeaway is that the real world and what real companies are facing is sometimes a lot more difficult than what can be described to you in a class. And so I think that's why, the GAP program was just amazing, because we got to really step into that real world situation and have to deal with everything that was coming our way.
Yeah, I mean, you're putting it so sweetly with beautiful words over there. Real, it's so difficult. It's so nasty out there.
Yeah.
Sometimes the competition is so cutthroat.
Yeah.
And I understand. I mean, these companies who want to get into the United States and then the go-to-market strategy. Absolutely, yeah. I totally understand that thing. And now, what next is the most important question, because hey, you had your MBA program, you've learned a lot, you've evolved yourself as a person, and then with a better personality. What exactly is your next step in your life?
Yeah, so I joined FEMBA as a career enhancer, and I already love where I am. I think that I have been challenged. I've had the opportunity to grow and to learn in my career, and also through FEMBA. So next steps, I want to continue on the journey that I'm on right now. I love my role, and I want to just continue to promote in this space. But also, I think something that's always been true of me. If you asked me 10 years ago, if you asked what I want to do in the future, right, I'd always tell you that I want to be happy, and I want to be learning, and I want to be challenged.
Awesome.
But I don't have this ideal position in mind or exactly where I want to go figure it out, because I think all of it is just beautiful to go through the journey. So I'm content. I'm very happy. I think I am continuing to excel and to grow and to improve myself, and just overjoyed with that prospect.
But still, I want to ask, if given an opportunity, what exactly is that thing that you want to undo, or maybe you want to redo in your MBA program over here at Anderson?
Yeah, it's funny you asked me that, because I mentioned I had a lot of anxiety about public speaking, and we've mentioned Professor Kramer a few times.
Oh, yes.
My final presentation for Professor Kramer's class, I was terrified.
Were you presenting?
I was presenting,
awesome.
And I could barely get my words out. And so if I could redo it, I would redo that presentation. But at the same time, I think what it's shown me, because I can think back to that moment, is how much I've grown since then.
Did he cold call you in the class?
Oh, of course he cold called me. Just like everyone. Yeah.
And you still presented. That's good, actually.
Yeah.
I was the one presenting in my previous for the global immersion.
Yeah.
So yeah,
you know how tough it is.
Oh, yeah. Framework, I tell you. I mean, he says making us learn, that's how it works. I mean, it's all the best we have. So yeah, thank you so much for that. And with respect to the next goals, if we want to talk, your future goals, that how do you think your MBA program is going to be that strong cushion for you to kind of move forward in your goal? And what exactly are those goals?
Yeah, I think MBA has a lot of one of the most important things are the connections that I've made, right? And so, maintaining those friendships and being able to reach out to each other, I think is one of the most important things that I've gained. And then can you remind me again?
Your career goals, like maybe 5 years down the line, where you see yourself, and how do you think FEMBA is going to help you in that?
Yeah. So FEMBA has shown me, from an academic perspective, but also in just, through the social experience, how to be a leader. And I'm looking forward to engaging with, different stakeholders within my company and even more broadly, and even taking on a management role in the future, I hope.
Okay. If you have to tell something for class of 28 is going to come pretty soon, so if you want to give one thing that you want to tell them, part of MBA, maybe outside of the class within Anderson, whatever that is, some fun act, whatever that is, what exactly are those two things that you would actually tell to not miss, or maybe something like that?
Yeah, don't, I would say, this is so cliche, but enjoy every minute, because the 3 years does go by very, very quickly. And focus on the relationships that you're creating and the friendships.
Yes.
Because you will oftentimes learn more from your cohort than you will, just sitting in the class listening to a lecture. And those lectures are great.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
But the friendships and the relationships that you create are really meaningful.
That's great. That's great. Good. Thank you so much, Mehwish. But before we go, have another question. If you have to give a bear hug to anyone in your life, who will that be, and then why?
Oh, how sweet. So, wow, this is so cute. If I were to give this bear hug to anyone, it would definitely be my husband.
Not as expected.
Yeah, my husband, Anik, of course.
Of course.
He's been in my life for 11 years now, and we actually met on the undergrad campus at UCLA.
Bruin love story, gentlemen and ladies. Bruin love story.
It was a true Bruin love story. We met while playing hide and go seek. And
interesting.
Yeah, I will always be forever upset at him, because I remember it was the first time I actually decided to join a Pakistani Student Association event. And it was a hide and go seek at midnight on the campus. And so I was there, kind of felt like I was dragged over, and was looking at the time thinking we should have started already because it was way past my bedtime.
Okay.
And I just see this tall 6'2" human walking down super leisurely with a little bowl of gelato from 1919, the cafe on campus. Very late and very unbothered by the fact that the entire group of people was waiting for him. So that ended up being my husband, flash forward 7 years. But, through that process, or through the last 11 years, he's really just been there for me every step of the way. He's, I guess mutually we've been there for each other. He's gone through a really grueling medical training process, and now he's on his way to become a cardiologist. And, despite all of that hard work that he's been doing, he's been there for me through my experience at FEMBA and my career, and he's just the biggest champion of my success.
That is so nice. That is so nice. Just curiosity, not I'm trying to know. That love story is so cute.
Yeah.
So what happened after that when he came?
Well, we played hide and go seek. And I also remember I was actually so I was the seeker.
Okay.
And it took hours to find everyone.
Oh, yes.
And the way he was hiding actually was in front of Moore Hall, which is a building on campus. And he was sitting on a bench with a newspaper just, spread out. That's how he was hiding. And so, he just... literally from that day, I think I had a crush on him.
That's what I wanted to know.
That's what it was. And look at us now. We're 4 years into marriage. And, through the process, we actually co-founded the Saving Hearts Foundation together. And, we were just both so motivated to always be, working on something that's much bigger than ourselves, between our careers or our nonprofit or just, what we're doing for our community. And he's the best type of partner that I could imagine.
That is so nice. Thank you so much. God bless you both. I met him as Anik as well. Is a great man. So thank you so much for sharing all these stories, Mehwish. It's pretty impressive and inspiring. And you brought the Saving Hearts Foundation again as well. It's that element of empathy is very important. These all add up to the significant purpose of everyone's life. So everyone has to be that empathetic towards other human beings. Great story. Great message. Thank you so much. God bless you all, and good luck with all your endeavors in the future.
Thanks so much for having me.
Thank you.